everyone, it's Gail Scott-Key on the Gail Scott-Key Show, and I have my guest co-host, Geoff Sandin, joining me because he just couldn't get enough. Hey, Geoff, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, Gail.
Well, I'm sure you are because we're thrilled to welcome a very special guest and dear friend of mine, actor and singer Don Most. He is beloved by fans around the world for his iconic role on Happy Days. Who doesn't know Happy Days? Remember those, Geoff? It's just
Oh,
been amazing.
absolutely. Some of my earliest childhood memories, watching the
Yes.
reruns of Happy Days. I definitely wasn't there to see them all or understand them all, but I definitely saw the reruns big impact on my life. So,
Hey, that's okay. That's okay because we've got the real deal Don here. He's built that career that spans through television, film, music, and on the stage. His latest film, ooh, Harson's Island Revenge. It is a different role from the Happy Days role that he has, and you'll see what I mean. On the music front, oh, jazz lovers, and he knows he always gets me jazzed. Sunday, November 23rd, jot it down. Johnny Most, mostly swinging with the Metropolitan Jazz Orchestra in Colorado. I give you now. I am so excited to have Don Most here with us. Don, how are you?
I'm doing great, Gail. How are you?
I am doing awesome. I have to do this because my husband reminded me of this real quick. Do you remember what this is?
Oh, yeah. That's a spider doing push-ups on a mirror. Yeah, that was a joke.
God,
Yeah, one of Ralph's.
on Happy Days, yes.
Yeah, one of Ralph's gems.
See? And
Yeah,
he brought it up. He goes, Gail, I'm gonna be doing my push-ups. I'm like, oh, you are so bad. I said, Don does it better.
spider doing push-ups on a mirror. It was pretty good. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Geoff, you have been a huge fan of Don's for some time.
I have. Don, you've definitely made an impact on my life. You've been a household name since Happy Days. I've seen so many reruns. How did that early success really shape the choices that you made in your career?
Wow, how did it shape the choices? Well, I guess the biggest the biggest one in terms of having to make, decisions and choices was that uh, after doing the show, I did it for 7 seasons out of the 11 that it ran. I was on the first seven, and my contract was coming up for renewal, and after that seventh season, and it was a really hard decision, but um, because of the success of the show, and back then there was not even cable when we were on, no internet, so it was only three networks, and you were much more sort of in danger, if I could say, of getting pigeonholed or typecast to a certain kind of character, one that you've done for so many years, and so and I wasn't even really very much like the character of Ralph, but to me, acting, that was the joy of acting, of playing many different roles, and I knew that I was going to be up against a wall when the show was over, and I wanted to have a career that lasted, a lifetime. So was at the end of that. So after the seventh season, I made the decision not to renew and to go out and start, fighting the good fight. That was the same year Ron Howard did not renew his contract because he was pursuing, directing. Don't know whatever happened with that, but 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 anyway, um, that definitely shaped, you know, um, that choice for me, and it was a difficult one. But I mean, it also shaped so many other things in a positive way because I got to work with people like Ron Howard and Henry Winkler and Tom Bosley and Anson and then also Gary Marshall, our executive producer, and Jerry Paris, our director. They were like comic geniuses. So um, that certainly was a great influence on me.
And I know Pat
Yep.
Morita was in there as well. One of my big childhood.
Oh yeah, Pat Morita was so great, so great. Yeah, I loved Pat. Well, we all loved. We had such great, you know, great relationships, great friendships, and great love for one another. It really became a family. Sounds kind of cliche, but it really was. And I think that's what one of the things that made the show as successful as it was, because you can't fake that, and it just comes through, and the people feel it, and also great writing and great directing, and we had very talented actors, but those relationships certainly, I think, came through.
Well, they certainly have, and you have just persevered. And as you said, being pigeonholed, I remember George Reeves was Superman. He had such a hard time
Mhm.
finding that niche. But you have been incredible, still doing film, still doing TV. But your latest film, let's talk about this, Harson's Island Revenge. Now, this is a big leap. I'm going to let you all know. Everybody sees that sweet, adorable face. You're stepping into the shoes of a mobster. So it's quite a departure, from the roles many of your fans know you for. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, what drew you, Don, to this character, and how did you prepare to really bring that side of him to the light of the screen?
uh, yeah. I mean, that was I actually, over the especially over the last 6 years or so, I'd gotten to play other characters back after I left the show. It was a bit of a, it was a bit of a struggle at times, but then I started, chipping away at it, and it opened up doors. I'd play a character that was a little different. I did something, a two-parter on Star Trek Voyager, and then on The Crow, I played a psychiatrist and a metal rocker on Chips, and so I played a lot
Yeah.
of different, starting to play other roles, and then some independent films. But in the last 6 years, especially, I've been playing such a wide variety of roles, and that's what I love to do. That's what excites me the most in acting. But this new film that you referred to, Harson's Island Revenge, that was pretty heavy departure. True story. It took place during Prohibition in the 20s, and in the Michigan area, because Harson's Island is an island, off of the mainland of Michigan, and it was an island where a lot of World War One vets were living, and at the same time there was a gang, a vicious murderous gang called the Purple Gang, who they were controlling most of the liquor that came down from Canada, with bootlegging during Prohibition. Um, and then in the film, there becomes sort of a war between these World War One vets and the Purple Gang. And the head of the Purple Gang was a Jewish mob, and they were really the most feared. And the head was Ray Bernstein, and I play Ray Bernstein in this movie. So I play the head of that mob, and so it was a pretty intense, role where, uh, 180 degrees from who I am and who Ralph
Yeah.
was. So,
Yeah.
but it was great. It was a really good script, and I had really good helper. I mean, there were some great um, people support, the director and all that. And yeah, I read a bunch about that era, and I even read specifically about the Purple Gang and Ray Bernstein, and saw a lot of articles and a lot of photos, and that's what really fed me the most, and the script itself. So it really it was a great combination of things that came together that I think made it work as well as it did. And I still haven't seen the film, but I've seen a couple of some of my scenes, a little or moments from my scenes, and it does look really good. And the feedback I've gotten has been terrific. Um, because it's been playing in theaters, select theaters, not all over the country, but in Michigan and in Iowa and in Minnesota, was playing in parts of Texas, but it'll go it'll come out streaming October 7th. So I'm really excited for that
Nice.
to happen. And I think Amazon is going to be one of the platforms, and there might be some others. But yeah, I'm excited for for people to see me in this, and um, I think
Me too.
it might lead to me playing some more very different roles, which should be great.
Oh. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'd love to see it. So yeah, so that's the most recent one. People can check. I with the same film company. They're called Collective Development
Yeah.
Incorporated, CDI in Michigan. I did two other films for them, and one was called Lost Heart. Another really nice script, and I play a small town local pastor in that one, um, and won some awards for that film. So
Yes, I remember that.
so people, you could check that out. That's streaming too. I
Yep.
forget which. It might be on Amazon. I'm not sure, but you can look.
Amazon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I see.
and then I did another one with them called Man's Best Friend, where I play a defense attorney representing a wounded vet. Another a pretty hardcore drama, pretty intense. So I'm hoping to just keep it going, and juggling it with the
There-
music
Oh,
because I
yeah.
love the music too, and if I could keep doing both, that makes me really happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeff and I were talking about your performances with the live music, and he's such a big jazz fan himself. So I was just like, remember you were just talking about that.
Yep. I was talking about mostly swinging, and I was just curious, performing live music and acting on screen, two different worlds completely. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Don, based on your experience, do you approach them with the same creative process, or does each one demand something completely different from you? How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think it is. It does come from different parts of your brain. I think there is a shift. It's not something that um, I consciously say, oh, now I have to do this, or I guess because I started pretty young, and I was singing in a nightclub review up in the Catskill Mountains, a resort area upstate New York, um, back in the late 60s. And I was 14, almost 15 in this nightclub review. So, that's kind of in my bones, my blood. And the singing part, it actually came first before I got serious about acting. And then when I was 16, I switched gears and got into a much more serious acting school and put my focus there. So for whatever reason, doing all that when I was that young, and it just sort of uh, came, you know, it comes sort of in a unconscious way, not necessarily conscious. I mean, I prepare, but I prepare differently for the two because they are very different. But you know, for the acting, there's the preparation has a lot to do with some research and 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 really diving down into, for certain roles especially, diving back into my own life and finding things that can give me what I need to bring out for the character what the demands are. And you have to find things from within that you can connect to. So that's the big preparation in acting. And in singing, to me, it's just a matter of really, being on top of the music. With the technology today, I couldn't do
Yeah.
this years ago, but
Yeah.
now I could practice, on the computer with the tracks, record them, and
You're evolving.
practice to my heart's content singing. So there's a lot of that, and then just getting excited to go on stage because with a
Yeah.
great band behind me, it's such a high. So
Oh my goodness.
I just ride the wave, you know.
Oh, I ride. I've told you this before when his big band music was coming out, Jeff, and I shared this with you, Don. I was just like, I almost went off the road. That's okay. I don't blame that on Don. It's because I was listening to his music. Because you just get captivated. And the same thing happens when you're on that stage. We can see you singing. What are the moments that stand out the most, though? That's that instant connection with the audience or the joy of reimagining the classic songs that you're singing to them.
All of that. That's, you nailed it. I mean, having the, you know, that live experience, and that's what you know, jazz is. Um, Obviously, this is not instrumental jazz where there's even more improvisation, but it's still these jazz players, and if they get you know, sort of revved up or influenced by the other players that are playing something really great, and then by, if the singer, because like I had a experience about 2 months ago where I did a show with a big band. It was in the LA area, and there was just incredible musicians. And after the show, I mean, I was feeling them, and it was like just goosing me. And then I got to different levels. And afterwards, when I was talking to some of the players, you know, I was saying, telling them how much, how great they were and how much it affected. And he said, well, we felt that from you. And it was, so it's that giving, you know, back and forth between the musicians, artists, and that's what makes it in a live setting like that and with an audience. It's just so organic and exciting. Nothing
We
like
got to
it.
experience it.
Nothing like it. Yeah.
Jeff and I got to get a tickets. We got to go there, Jeff. We got to go to Colorado. We got to check this out
Yeah.
live.
November 23rd. Come on
We are
And
out.
Don,
overdue, John.
and Don, I heard you sing Mac the Knife, and that instantly took me back a little bit. So,
Yes.
Where
question for
did
you.
you? Where did you say it was on one of the
It was on YouTube.
videos?
It was on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
on YouTube. But
Yeah,
you know,
there's, I don't know which one you saw because there's two. If you, there's one I did with a, you know, like a 6-7 piece band at a small club. Then there's one I did at a big theater with this, you know, 17-piece band. It's called Full Sail. My name
Full
and
Sail.
Full Sail.
Right.
Check that one out
Yep.
because that was the venue, and we had 4 cameras, you know, and great sound. So
Yep.
so I would encourage people to check that one out.
Absolutely.
But and Mac, yeah, I mean Bobby Darin was a huge
Yeah.
influence of mine. I saw him at
Yep.
the Copacabana when I was 18 years old. So
You got me jiving now. I'm going to be
Probably
doing the
before me.
Copacabana.
yeah, at the Copacabana.
Copacabana.
So Don, as you
And I will
continue,
be back up for him.
Yeah, that would be fun. I
so
would like
Don, so
that.
Don, as you continue to evolve as both an artist and a performer, are there any upcoming projects or even dream projects you're excited to share with us?
Yeah, there are some dream projects, some that I've been trying to get going for some time because I've directed three independent films in the past, and the last one was a while ago, and I'm getting really itchy to do that again as well. And so there's like 3 or 4 projects that I'm really pushing, trying to find the right the right team to do it with, and get it greenlit somehow somewhere, so that I could do, you know, direct those. I don't know if I would act. There might be one that I could act in as well, but it's mainly for directing. And one of them, 2 projects that I wrote with my wife. So those are especially, you know, have my big hopes for those to go first. Hope those come first. I can't, you know, share too much about what they are right now, but one is one's a real comedy, and it's sort of based on a fairy tale but modern day, and it's really fun. Um, Another one is a heavy, more dramatic, true events that deal with the whole UFO phenomenon. You
Oh,
know,
Really?
Based on a couple of books written by well-known authors in that field of ufology. And then
Ooh.
there's another one that's kind of a comedy drama that just a brilliant script. And I love the way it blends there's very heavy material subject matter, but yet it deals with it just so delicately and then can be very funny. And I never thought somebody could pull that off. And so I'm excited about that one. And then there's one that deals with family and brothers and baseball, brothers in Little League, that kind of thing. And it's really, really nice script. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
Base-
We will.
Baseball and brothers, I can totally relate to that one. And
All right.
and
All right. You'll definitely love this project if we get it going.
Aw.
right. And then Don, I'll sum this one up with, with such a varied career, how do you balance the nostalgia for your past roles with the drive to create new chapters in your artistic journey?
Well, the nostalgia there was a period when I was trying to, sort of establish myself outside of Happy Days where, I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to, I tried to separate myself. But now, in more recent years, I'd say in the last 10 years, something like that, when I go around to some of these personal appearances, some Comic Cons that I've been doing with Anson Williams and Henry Winkler's been doing a bunch of them. Ron even did one with us. But the thing now, it's like I could embrace it. There's enough distance between my character then and who I am now, and people are seeing me in these other projects, and so I'm not as concerned about that. So it's something I can enjoy and embrace in a way that I couldn't years ago, and especially as the years went by, the responses have matured. It's weird. Back in the day, they were excited to meet they would meet us, and really, talk about how much they love the show. But now there's a lot of people coming up with all the years that have gone by, and they talk about how much the show meant to them in their childhood, how much it meant, and maybe in some ways that they get emotional about because they were going through a hard time, and then Happy Days was something they could escape what they were going through. And a lot of people would be telling me things like that, and I was surprised, how emotional it affected them, and but they would laugh and they love the comedy. But now, looking back at it, they talk about how meaningful it was to them at the time. So it's so, I was taken aback by that, and feel very, what's the word? Feel very rewarded by that, and I have sort of this other appreciation of what we did.
Well, we appreciate you very much. And I'm sorry, Geoff, you were going to say.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it was definitely like a rite of passage for me, right? Watching Happy Days and then that bridging
Yes.
in. I wasn't young enough to see the full episodes from 1975 up. I was just a little kid, but watching those reruns and then watching things like Three's Company. So to actually meet you, Don, is just like my life kind of coming full circle. Like you were in this with me, kind of, right? Like
Oh,
you were on that journey
We
with me.
couldn't
So
wait for this interview.
I don't tie it to Ralph Malph, right? I tie it to you, Don, most.
oh,
You were just one of the faces in that whole collaboration that
oh,
made
that's
me,
great.
like, bond to the world, right? Because we're watching you through TV, and that's kind of what I mimic myself. Like, hey, life is supposed to be like this, right? So it did make a huge impact,
Oh,
on my
that's
life, and I'm sure millions of others.
it's great to
And I've
hear.
shared this with you. When I watched, because I'm 69 born. Okay, it's out. Okay, I got there, all right. But you know something? I grew up with this gentleman, Don Most, who has befriended me, and you still got it. And I'm not just saying it, you
Oh,
still got it
that's
because you are just a love. You have been so embracing and so inspiring to me personally. If someone would have told me years later I would be having the honor to interview you, I would have said, yeah, right. Well, dreams come true. And you
Oh,
were living proof of that, my dear. And I'm so, so excited. And we could go on and on. And you know, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, but not really, because of course we're going to have Dawn back. Of course we are. So don't worry about it. Now, I want to make sure that we also check out, go to the social media pages, Facebook, checking out on YouTube, Parsons Island Revenge. Get ready. Get ready.
yeah,
If you're
get
not in
ready.
those surrounding areas, right, and you haven't seen it, you're going to be watching like Geoff and I on Amazon. It is worth it. It is worth it. And also make sure for you jazz lovers, jot on your calendar November 23rd. I'm going to be repeating it again before that holiday season, just so you know, because Donnie Mo's mostly swinging with the Metropolitan Jazz Orchestra in Colorado. Get your
Yeah.
seats, get your tickets on, book it now. Geoff, I thought you were going to get online and book our tickets.
I'm on it. Let's go.
Get on it.
Don,
Yeah, and
Don.
it's in an area. The town's called Lafayette. It's right near Boulder, Colorado, and the place is called Nissis, Nissi'. So it'll make it easier to find that way. Having
Well,
that.
we will always find you because you're a beacon of loveliness and such a wonderful heart. And so we're due, Dawn and I are due to see each other in person. We've discussed this.
Yes, we are. I would love that.
Clap the hands, see?
You're a great person too, Gail.
Oh, I adore you. And I so thank you for taking this time with us. You know we're going to have you back. So Don Most, check him out. If you haven't, what have you been under a rock? Anyway, he's our love. I love him so much. Geoff Sandin, my special co-host, thank you for coming. I'm sure this dream made your dream come true, talking to the infamous Mr. Don Most.
Absolutely. Great time.
And it was very nice meeting you, Geoff, and talking with you as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
we love you. Thank you so
Love
much,
you.
Don. You're the
Thank
best.
you. You take care. Take care of yourself.
You too.
All
Thanks,
right.
hon. And all of
Bye-bye.
you, tune in for Gail Scott-Key's Entertainment Now. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.